evening, LTL Nation, and welcome back to the 7-Minute Breakthrough Revolution. Now, I have always believed that compassion is the essence of being human. It connects us in a way that nothing else can. This weekend, I got talking to a guy, and we were talking for a while, and then the conversation turned to a topic that I wasn't really comfortable with, but I let it go because I thought maybe I can learn something. The topic turned to certain types of people that he didn't like, all different types of people. And I couldn't understand why he didn't like these types of people. So I kept asking him, what's the reason behind it? Because I was so curious, because I've never hated someone ever, even if they've hurt me. I can't bring myself to hate them because it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It won't work. You're going to be the one who's affected. And he said, well, it's just my friends and family, they feel the same way. So I said, but have you ever encountered any one of these types of people that has hurt you directly? And he said, well, no, but so-and-so and so-and-so. And I said, but can you name these people? Like, name someone of this type of person that has done harm directly to you. And he said, no, it's when you watch the news or you watch the media. And I said, there you go. So you're judging, you're hating, and you're being closed-minded against certain types of people because of what you've heard on the news. That makes no sense. You haven't actually had any personal connections with these types of people for you to be that closed-minded about them. Now, I don't watch the news purely for this reason, because it does create judgments in our minds. It sows a seed that certain types of people aren't good, or you shouldn't go near certain types of people because they're going to hurt you. And that creates a massive disconnect and a massive separation in humanity. And the one thing that judgments are is rooted in fear. It's a fear of maybe being judged by your friends. If you don't agree with what they're saying, you might fear to stand out from the crowd. And it's also people completely write them off. And they talk about these people and act as if they know them, when all it is from what someone else has said or judgments through the media. It's not actually your personal viewpoint. So how can you even say you hate someone or don't like them when you've never even met them? It makes no sense. No one is born hating someone else. No one. It's programmed into our minds through people around us, through our environment, through the media, and it can be unlearned. It doesn't have to stay that way. But what I'm trying to get at is these types of people are going to come into our lives all the time. And when I was talking to this guy, I didn't like what he was saying, and it was making me angry. I thought, why is he hating these people? These types of people are in my life, and they're people I love too. And I had a choice. Do I hate him back? Do I get angry? Do I be aggressive towards him because of the way he's talking about other people? Or do I show compassion? Do I show him light in his darkness? Because people who hate others are tainted with so much darkness. Because someone who truly loved themselves would never ever hate or hurt another person. And I decided to show him compassion. I decided to do something different. And I think we all need to do more of that. When people come into our lives and they do something that we don't agree with, and that might be they hate a certain type of person and we don't understand why they do that, then we show them compassion. We show them that two wrongs don't make a right, and maybe eventually our light that's shining on them will soften them into realising that the world isn't a bad place. And that's what these people think. A lot of people think that the world is such a horrible place, and they're tainted with fear, and their inner child is so scared of the world and everything around them that they don't know how to love anymore. They've forgotten how to be compassionate. And compassion is the one thing that's going to connect us all together. Hate and closed-mindedness just disconnect us together. So it's time we got compassion back in fashion. And the next time you see someone doing something that you don't like, instead of getting angry and aggressive at them, just show them some love. And I know it sounds backwards to what you would want to do naturally, but honestly it helps, because imagine if you're arguing with someone and they're arguing and you're screaming back at them, what are they going to do? They're going to scream back because it's a defence mechanism. If they're being attacked, whether for their belief you think is right or wrong, they're going to attack you back. But if you come at them with compassion and love and light, they can't argue with that. How can they argue with someone who is oozing self-love and oozing compassion towards them? It's going to soften them. And that's what we need to do. We need to spread compassion into this world, to join us back together as human beings, to stop being so disconnected, and remember that we are all one in this universe. I'm from the UK, but I remember Anita said a few weeks ago in one of her talks, there was a scientific study done on how everyone from ancestors from years ago are born from different races and different religions and different countries. That means that I could be half German, I could be half Arab, I could be anything, because we're not necessarily from the place that we were born, and that means that we are all connected in some way, somewhere along the line, and compassion will enforce that connectivity. It will keep us going as a human race. And compassion is the greatest thing, because if we truly, truly loved ourselves, we would be compassionate towards ourselves. If we make a mistake, we let it be. We learn from that mistake. We show ourselves compassion and we move forward from it. And if we can do that for ourselves first, then we can do that for everyone around us. If they make a mistake, if they hate someone else, if they show dislike towards someone for no reason, and we show compassion, then we can help them, we can help the world. And I think that is the most important message that I want to get across, that compassion and showing love to others in the face of something that you don't like, that they're saying something you don't like, is the best reaction you can do. Because it will dilute their hate, it will dilute their closed-mindedness, and hopefully it will spread love into their lives. Because people who fear and are so closed-minded, there's something that's happened to them, like in their past or whatever, and they are in pain. And I found this out because when I asked this guy, and I kept saying like, why, what's happened, and I just delve a little deeper because I'm a very curious person and I like to ask a lot of questions. And I found out that he had been cheated on by his ex-girlfriend, and she had gone back to her ex-partner. And the way he spoke about her with so much hate, it was like there was pain inside of him that he just couldn't get out. So I gave him a hug, because I thought that's maybe what he needs. And that's all anybody needs who's in pain, anybody who's hating someone else. They need a hug. They need it the most. They need compassion the most. So go out there and make compassion fashionable again. That's the end of my talk this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next week.